everyone, I just thought I'd jump online and give you a demo of how to paint a fabric chair. So yes, you can actually use the Autentico Vinatge range to paint fabric. So you will need your tin of chosen colour, a chair. Now this one is in pretty good condition, so paint can't, go over patches and holes and things like that. So if you've got something that's, still really good quality and a little bit dirty, or this one's got a bit of a stain on its seat, like a water stain, you can actually freshen it up with the Vinatge chalk paint. So as I said, what you need is your paint, your brush and a water sprayer. So before you paint, you wet your surface of your fabric. Now this is so that the chalk paint will soak into it. So in fact you're almost dyeing your fabric with the paint. So it will take a couple of coats, but I'll show you how easy it is for the first coat, and then I'll come back when it's dry and then we'll do another coat. So I've wet my brush already because that just stops the paint bleeding up into your brush. Dip into your paint and off you go. What I'll do is I'll put a bit loose on. So I load my brush fairly thick. This is Autentico denim, so it's a really soft grey blue, which I thought would be pretty neutral. Now, being a vintage chalk paint, this needs sealing. So once it's all dry, I will use clear wax to seal it, which will also soften it a little bit too, so it won't be hard and crunchy. Essentially how it's looking. So as you're working, you should work in little sections. So I've just sprayed the bottom section here, and I'm just working section by section, because if you wet it all over, it'll probably drop, it'll dry. And so just work in sections, wet your fabric, paint, then move on to your next section with the paint, with the spray bottle first, and then your paint. Okay, part two of the fabric chair. Now I've done one full coat on the whole chair. This is just a little patch that I missed something, so that's why it's a little bit different colour. So the next thing is you give it a light sand, so you can hear how it's sort of a little bit rough. And with this, it's got sort of little baubles from the material, so it's sort of like little knots on there. So what I'll do now is give it a light sand all over, and then we'll go into our second coat. So you just sandpaper block, not too harsh a sandpaper, maybe a 120, something like that, and you just so you're doing it, you're not trying to take the paint off, you're just trying to get it smooth. So that's much smoother. Here's a little bit rougher. So I will just continue on doing that. So now the next part is to continue on with your second coat. Again, wet your fabric, wet your piece just a little bit. Because as I said earlier on, you're essentially dyeing the fabric. I'm liking this Autentico denim though, nice colour. It's not grey and it's not blue. So this second coat, you shouldn't get too many little sections like this that aren't completely Now the one thing with fabric painting, you tend to use a fair bit of paint because it does soak in, so be wary of that. Make sure you've got enough of your colour. Yeah, it's really coming along now. The water will actually help it as well, spread a little bit more, as well as soaking in to your material. So here's the second coat, still drying, so it looks a bit patchy, but you can see it's covering quite well now. So I've finished my coats on the chair using denim in Autentico, and I think I'm going to put a transfer on. So I've pinned it at the top just so that it holds in place, and then I'm going to take the backing paper off gently. So I'll just gently push it on. Now I'm just going to start from the top and come down. Because the material's a little bit bumpy, it'll probably take me a while. So I'll go ahead and do it, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. So I haven't waxed the chair, I haven't put anything else on, just paint, and the paint's dry. And then I've put the transfer on. Okay, I think we're done. So what I'll do is I'm going to just lift it up very gently to see whether or not I've missed any pieces. There's a few little bits and pieces that I've missed.